buy it with the pedal drive. So what you're gonna get with that versus the paddle is the location's already gonna be trimmed out. You're gonna have a boot that joins the bottom of the boat or the hull of the boat to the deck of the boat. And you're also gonna have an insert that holds the pedal drive itself in place. You're gonna get the pedal drive and you're gonna get the hand steer rudder kit, which you can also buy the rudder kit as an accessory if you wanna add a rudder to the paddle version. But if you get the pedal drive version, it's gonna already have that rudder kit with a hand steer on it. So you're gonna get everything you need in that full package if you buy it that way, but you can also buy those components at a later time if you wanna upgrade your paddle version of the AnglerFish. So we're gonna jump into the features of these boats. Keep in mind that I got these boats really before they hit the market. So some things may change just a little bit and you may see some differences in the full production versions, because again, I've had this pedal drive version for quite some time. We've actually went back and forth with the company, and one thing I can say is they've been listening to all the feedback that I've given them, and they've made some really great changes and modifications to improve upon this design, which is already a really nice design. So we're gonna jump into it really quick and we're gonna walk through it from bow to stern. Starting here at the bow of the AnglerFish, you'll see that you have a handle here. This is a pretty standard handle on the bow. You've got a sealed hatch. I've already opened this up, but the bow is completely self-contained, so you're not gonna get any water in here. It's completely sealed. It's really nice. This is tethered to the boat as well, so you can take it off if you need to, but it's tethered. And this is a pretty standard hatch lid here for that storage. Again, this is in multiple pieces as you go back, so this bow piece is a fully sealed piece, unlike the rest of the boat that has a deck and a whole piece that goes together. As we move back, you'll see some geometry here. This is molded into the boat for if you add that pedal drive, because it is the same deck piece for the paddle version and for the pedal drive version. So if you get the paddle version, you'll see this geometry. That's if you ever want to add that pedal drive. And you'll see these straps on both sides as we go down, and that's how you attach the deck piece to the lower hull piece. Again, more geometry here that you would cut out if you were going to have that pedal drive. There is a scupper on either side here, and this is cut out so that as you're pedaling, if you have the pedal drive version, that your feet don't catch as bad, and the water is going to drain right to that scupper. I did not have any water really coming into the boat while I was out on the water. The paddle version is going to come with the foot braces on either side and a piece of gear track down either side, so you can easily add those accessories and not have to drill into the boat. Plus, you can take those accessories off the boat if you're trying to pack it down and store it in that bag very quickly. These are adjustable. You simply move them to where you want them. Sorry, I gotta unlock them first. Nope, that's locked. So you move them to where you want them, and then you can lock them into place. And that's gonna be adjustable for your leg length. As we move back in front of the seat, you have a couple of molded in cup holders on either side, which is a great use of that space. You'll see more of these straps, again, holding these deck pieces down to the hull itself. And then the seat has 3 basic trim positions. So you'll see these little cutouts or geometry that's molded into the boat that you can adjust the seat forward and aft. And you do have these buckles here in order to attach the seat to the boat, but there's nothing on the stern to do so, so you just have the ones on the front. Now the seat is only in a pretty low position. It does not have any kind of high-low setting or anything, so just keep that in mind. And again, this boat has been kept very simple for the simple reason to be able to pack it down. As we move behind the seat, you'll see another piece of gear track. Now, I will say that in the production version of the paddle version, in the production kayak, in the paddle version, I don't believe that you will be getting this piece of gear track. If you get the pedal version, however, you will get this piece of gear track, is what I'm being told from the manufacturer. So keep that in mind. Some of these things that you're going to see on this boat, like this piece of gear track, may not come in the paddle version, but could be added very easily and would come if you go for the pedal version from them directly. Again, more straps back here, and you do have some bungee. Now, the tank well itself is not recessed, it is raised. However, I was able to fit my Railblaza crate back here. no problem. And I think some of the smaller ones from Yak Attack would fit there. If you go with a larger one, you may be sitting on top of this because it's not a very large space, but I was able to get my crate back there, no problem. As we move back, you've got a handle on the stern, and you'll see some geometry here to where if you were gonna add that rudder kit that's available as an accessory, or if you have the pedal version, that's where your rudder would sit. And this nice keel here as well is where you would mount that rudder on the stern. The boat tracks pretty well. We'll get into all that in a minute. Here's the logo. But we're gonna jump over, after we've taken a look here at the paddle version, we're gonna jump over to the pedal version of this boat. Again, same thing, handle up front, very, very similar. I mean, everything's exactly the same really. You've got this nice hatch lid, you've got the handle, you've got the straps, but now you can see what it looks like with these clips installed and the actual pedal drive sitting in that location. So this is a hinge point for it. It's a very smooth drive unit too. I can say that I found it to work very well while we were out on the water. And I'll go over the speed and everything in a few minutes, but very smooth, very quiet drive system. And here you just simply loosen this little clip here that's going to hold the back in, and you pull this plug out, and then you can access that drive. So that's how you would lift it out. And because it's hinged, you would just pull it up, but I've got it in the tables in the way right now, but you can just basically line up your blade. You would need to line up your blade, and then you could pull this up and out of the boat if you needed to, because you were needing to get more shallow or for whatever reason. And it's going to hinge on this. There's a pivot point here and a pivot point here, so this can all like hinge and lift out of the way. Now, as I mentioned, there is a boot, a rubber boot, that basically is joined by these straps. It compresses the deck portion of the boat to the bottom portion of the boat, or the hull of the boat, and has a rubber gasket all the way around to prevent it from leaking. So that's nice as well. And if you want to leave the pedal drive at home and just paddle, you've got this nice drop-in plug here that keeps water from wanting to come up into that giant scupper hole. So great way to use or not use the pedal drive in this version. Everything else is the same. You've got the track on both sides, the cup holders on both sides. The seat's exactly the same as far as being able to move it into 3 positions, forward and aft. That will allow you to help adjust for your leg length. And you can just simply scoot your butt further forward or back in the seat to really adjust for your leg length when it comes to these pedals. But that's really the only adjustment. On one side of the seat, you'll see that I've got my bungee here. That's what's going to lift and lower the rudder itself. If I pull here, I can lift it. If I pull back the other way, once it's up, I can lower it, which will raise that. And then once it's raised, if I pull forward on the other side, I'm going to lower it. On the other side, I've got the steering system mounted. If you want to go right, you simply push it to the right and you'll see that rudder turn. If you want to go left, you simply push it left and that rudder will turn. And we tested that maneuverability out on the water, and we'll get into all that in just a moment. Moving back here, the paddle version of this boat, the pedal version of this boat will come with this track. You can see I've already got some Railblaza star ports mounted here, and that's how I did my video. You've got some bungees on both versions. I don't have this attached yet, but that's how you attach those top and bottom together. And then all of your rudder lines were pre-run on this version, but if you were going to be running them yourself and buying those as an accessory, you can see how those would be ran down the boat. Here is the rudder and how it is mounted, again, to this keel line here. You just basically go in here, you've still got your handle, and you've got the geometry for when this is folded up. It's going to tuck right there. And that is the pedal version of the AnglerFish. Here's a closer look at that steering mechanism, and that is mounted directly to this seat pan. Now you'll see I've got my tag ends kind of long because I didn't want to cut anything off until I was sure I had it adjusted where I wanted it. So I left all my tag ends long, but now that I know I've got it installed properly and connected properly, and I've got the right amount of throw in my rudder, and everything seems to be working well, I could trim these tag ends up and clean it up a bit. You'll see I've got them crisscrossed, and that's what allows it to go right when you turn right and left when you turn left. If you're not wanting these to be crisscrossed, you would be going right when you pull this way and left when you pull it this way. But I wanted it to work that way, so all you have to do is crisscross these, and they come with carabiners to be able to detach this so that you can take this part away from this part. So that is the basics of the pedal drive version of this boat. I've walked through all the features of these boats as far as the rigging and everything that you see and get with it. But one of the biggest features is obviously that it packs down into a pretty small bag. So you can fit this in a larger trunk of a car, the back of an SUV, especially in the bed of a pickup truck, but you can also store this in a very small space. So it's not gonna take up the room that a normal hard shell boat. And that is really the biggest feature that this kayak has to offer. And we're gonna get into all the other things about how it performs, because I know you're thinking, does it actually not leak? Does it actually perform pretty well? How stable is it? All those questions. I'm gonna go through my thoughts, because I have spent a couple of times on the water with the pedal drive and a full day of fishing out of the paddle version of this boat. If you haven't seen that video yet, be sure to check out the adventure video where I take this thing smallmouth fishing. It was my first time on the water for 2026, which is sad because it's already March, but we've had a lot of weather this year and I finally was able to get out. Now the fish weren't cooperating, but did catch a really nice smallmouth. So be sure to check that video out as well, because I spent a full day fishing and really using and putting this kayak to the test. All right.